Okay, so today we are going to do something a little bit different. We are going to compare two separate books and ultimately try to find out which one did it better. Today's nominees are The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper and Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. All right, let the battle begin. Segment 1 is entertainment level, and we're going to start off with The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. As far as level of entertainment of this book, I loved this book from start to end. I was intrigued all the way through. I think this book in my opinion, I'm trying not to give spoilers, so in my opinion, keeping it spoiler free, I think this book starts off really well. It establishes who the characters are, or at least the main character's family, who they are, the type of people they are, the type of aspirations that they have. And then as we progress throughout the story, there are certain things that occur that really show us, in particular, who our main character is, which I found to be incredibly intriguing. The final moments of this book are absolutely amazing as well. There is no lull. So, in short, for The Gravity of Us, I am going to give this book, based purely on entertainment, 5 stars. And now we bring into the book ring Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. On entertainment alone, this book was okay. It started off interestingly. It had a wonderful premise. Two brothers thrown into an epic war, generations in the making, a fight for good and evil between those born with power and those who took it. Sounds amazingly intriguing, and yet I was waiting. And I was still waiting and still waiting, and the only thing that really kept me intrigued with this book was that I was waiting for this to happen, and it did not happen. So, based on enjoyment level while reading the book, because I was waiting to get to that part, maybe a 3. But overall, enjoyment level, I'm pretty disappointed. I'm going to give this a 2-star. Winner of the entertainment factor round by a mile, The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. So now let's move on to Fits the Brief. Now, what do I mean when I say this? I mean that I'm going to be looking at the age rating for these books. Did they fit that age rating? I'm going to be looking at the genre of these books. Did they fit that genre? And if there is a sub-genre, did it fit that sub-genre as well? Let's jump into that section right now. We'll mix things up and start with Infinity Sun this time. Okay, so this book is a YA fantasy. So we're going to start off with the age rating. Does this book read like a YA book? Yes, it does. It absolutely does. So for that reason, I give this book, based purely on age rating, 5 stars. Over to The Gravity of Us. This book is a YA LGBTIQ plus contemporary romance. So I know that's a lot to swallow, but let's just call it a contemporary for the time being. So a YA contemporary, the age rating is YA. Does it read like a YA? 100% it does. So we give this book, for its age rating, 5 stars. So when it comes to age rating for both of these books, winner it's a tie. Both of them read like YA books. Back to The Gravity of Us, with its first main genre being a contemporary. Does this book read like a contemporary? Now, for those of you who don't know what a contemporary is a book that takes place in our modern day human physical reality world. Nothing extra should be occurring in a contemporary. So it should not be having fantastical elements. It should not be having horror elements. It should not be having sci-fi elements. It should not be having dystopian elements. This should be like an everyday sort of book, being that it's a contemporary. Does it fit the brief? 100% it does. 5 stars. This is definitely a contemporary. The main genre for Infinity Sun is fantasy. Does this book fit the fantasy genre? Well, my friends, You might think so. If you read this book, you might think, oh, yes, this is definitely a fantasy, but I disagree. This book to me does not read like a fantasy. It reads like a sci-fi to me, and I ask anyone who disagrees with me to comment below and let me know, because I'd love to see what makes you think that it is a fantasy, and I'd love to have that discussion with you, because to me this book does not read like a fantasy. It reads like a sci-fi, and it should be marketed for what it is. And so, owing to that, now let's be real before we give the rating. There are a couple of fantastical elements. There is the the added element of phoenixes in this book, and that is rather fantastical in its way, I suppose. Other than this, there are some characters who have some powers, so I guess that could be fantastical as well, but then again, it could seem more like a superhero style book, which is not really a fantasy. No, superheroes are completely different to fantasy. And owing to that, as far as the main genre of this book, does it stick to the brief is concerned, I'm going to give this book 2 stars. In the battle of does it stick to its main genre, the winner is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. Now we're going to look into LGBTIQ+. Both of these books are written by LGBTIQ+ authors, which would have you thinking that there would be LGBTIQ+ elements somewhere within the book. Both of them do deal with LGBTIQ+ elements, so how do these books rate comparatively when it comes to the LGBTQ+ themes in their books? And flipping back to start with Infinity Sun. Okay, so is this an LGBTIQ+ book? Let's start off with saying yes, because there are LGBTIQ+ themes in this book. So yes, you can officially call this an LGBTIQ+ book. However, the LGBTIQ+ moment or scene, there is one scene, it occurs 30 pages before the end, and it lasts for a grand total of 2 pages. To be precise, the pages are page 321 and page 322. This book revolves around, it's a dual perspective, and one of the perspectives follows Emil, something like that, anyway, and there is another side character that is there, and one of them is injured, so the other one, 30 pages before the end, says, take off your shirt so that I can try and heal you, and this turns into 2 pages of, you're really cute. You're really cute. Oh, really? You think that I am? I don't really work out that much in the gym, so I'm not that cute. Oh, okay, fair enough. Bye-bye, bye-bye. 2 pages, the end. It's not a romance. It's a very little moment of, I think you're cute. I don't think I am. Well, I do, but I don't go to the gym. Okay, goodbye. Okay, goodbye. 1 star rating for LGBTIQ+ themes, because that's all there is. The Gravity of Us, LGBTIQ+ themes. This book is so much better. I'm sorry to spoil it for you as far as who's going to win this section, but this book is so much better. Opening up right at the beginning, we find out that our main character is gay. We find out a lot of other different things along the way, and our main character being gay is not the main focus throughout the entire book at all. In fact, the main focus of our main character is career aspirations that he has, but we do find out very early on that he is gay. Our main character is uprooted. His life is uprooted because his family has to move somewhere. I won't give away where they go or why they're going there. But when they get there, our main character sees this other guy that he thinks is really cute. The other guy just happens to know of our main character for reasons that I won't get into. But our main character does not know this guy. And this other guy's sister tells the main character that her brother always thought he was cute, and then they start hanging out and getting to know each other. A relationship starts to develop, and the character development in this book is really amazing, and eventually we get to a point where they share their first kiss, and then there is a whole lot more. But wait, there is more! And we get to explore tough times that both the main character and the love interest are going through, and the way they are supporting each other, and just how great they are for each other. As far as an LGBTIQ plus side of things is concerned, this book receives 5 stars. Winner of the LGBTIQ plus argument is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper by a mile. So now let's talk character development, and we're going to start with The Gravity of Us. This book, Phil Stamper is an amazing writer as far as character development is concerned. He develops his characters very, very well. We get to know 3 characters right off the bat from the very beginning of this book, which is the main character's family. The main character just so happens to be the son of a mother and a father, and they're a 3-person family. We get to know them very well right from the beginning. We then get to know another character who has supported our main character, and then when their life, as I was saying earlier, is uprooted and they move to another area, we get to know another family, and we get to know those characters incredibly well as well. Character development is incredibly important when it comes to stories, because not only does it tell you more about who the characters are so that you get to know a lot more about them, rather than them seemingly being like 2-dimensional characters, they become more like 3-dimensional characters, but you also become a lot more invested in these characters when you know more about them. So when consequences hit characters that you have learnt a lot about, and where the character development is executed brilliantly, you are affected when they are hurt or when something bad happens. So thanks to Phil Stamper's wonderful work on character development, I give this book, when it comes to character development, 5 stars. Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera is Adam Silvera's very first fantasy book. Now, I need you to know before I go any further, because you can kind of see where this is going with this battle, that I do not judge Adam Silvera's contemporaries by what I thought of this book. In fact, History Is All You Left Me is a book that I'm going to be reading next week. It is a contemporary. This is a fantasy. I definitely will judge them differently. Don't worry about that. I'm just making the point that I know that this is Adam Silvera's very first fantasy, but let's just jump back up here. The Gravity of Us is Phil Stamper's very first book. So, I mean, if you want to say, oh, poor Adam Silvera, it's his very first fantasy, well, this is Phil Stamper's very first book he's ever written. So, not necessarily first he's ever written, but certainly first he's ever published. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk character development with Infinity Sun. Oh my goodness. Character development with Infinity Sun, otherwise entitled, or rather, lack thereof. There is no real character development in this book. One of the things that this book definitely has going against it is that there are at least 4 different perspectives in this book, and we shift so much in this book that it is really hard to keep up with what the heck is going on. There are consequences that occur in this book, but the character development is not done, it's not executed well at all, and so because of that, by the time we get to these consequences occurring to these characters, I'm going to use a 3-letter word that a lot of people don't want to hear, but it is the best way to describe my thoughts on this. Main character. The main character does not die, but I'm going to use that as an example here. Main character dies, my reaction, meh. I don't really care. Because I don't know you. I don't know you, so why should I care? Main character in this book goes through issues. Oh my god, you poor thing. I mean, considering everything you've done to get to where you are, and then the fact that this happens, oh my god, massive difference. So the winner when it comes to character development by a country mile is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. Okay, I don't think we need to go much further. I think we have a clear winner, and I don't think it's fair to just keep going. So, therefore, we're just going to invoke the In all fairness, let's end this before we drag one of these books through the mud even more than we need to. So the clear winner of this competition is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. It is by far and away the more superior novel to Adam Silvera's very first fantasy, Infinity Sun. I do not remember what I rated this book, but I think I gave it 2 stars because the majority of the time I did not like, well, for the majority of the reasons that you've heard here on this video, but as far as entertainment level is concerned, I didn't enjoy this book the majority of the time, and there were just 1 or 2 little gems, so I couldn't give it 1 star, so I gave it 2 stars. But I am also rating my books owing to do they fit the brief or not, and as you can see, this book does not fit the brief, so it earned the 2 stars that it received. With this book, there were tiny lulls here and there that maybe lasted like a page or 2. And so I did think, putting on my very harsh critique hat, should I have given this book 4 stars? But then I went through everything. Level of entertainment, does it suit the brief, character development, all of those sorts of things. And honestly, I feel like this book deserves more than 5 out of 5 stars. I feel like it deserves 100 out of 5 stars because it was just done so well. So I don't think, even putting my harshest critique hat on, that this book could have received anything less than 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing. This is Phil Stamper's very first book, as I was saying earlier. His second book is coming out, I think, in November 2020, so late 2020. Or early 2021, and I am definitely on board for this book. Phil Stamper, by any chance, if you're watching this and you want to send me a reader's arc of your next book, please send it to me. I will read it so happily. So anyway, just a little shout out there to Phil Stamper. I think he's an amazing author. I trust him. I love his work. If I want to reread an LGBTIQ plus book, I know that I can go back to this book and get exactly what I wanted out of it. In this video, I did a very quick competition between The Gravity of Us between Phil Stamper and Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. We're going to leave it there, letting you guys go. Peace, blessings, and so much love. Do you have 2 books that you'd like for me to do a comparison on? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thank you so very much for watching. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah. Bye guys, bye!